It's so much more powerful to observe than it is to take on that burden. How can I put myself in a position to help this group of people or this person? How can I offer my assistance? How can I offer my support? Yes, this is a very sad thing that's happening, but I don't want to take on the sadness because I want to be proactive, because that puts us in a position of power to be proactive. Observing is really healthy. Just observing something but not taking it on is very healthy, and it takes practice. We already have things that we naturally need to heal from. There's no point in getting invested in phony baloney drama that's not our own.
I choose to heal.
I choose to heal.
I choose to heal
as an expression of love to myself, my community, this earth, and those who I'm descended from.
Because holding on to my past traumas and holding on to bad things that people did to me was not leading to a happy life at all.
Why wouldn't I want to be healed? Why do I want to sit around stressed? Why do I want to sit around with weight on my shoulders? I want to be free. I want to feel liberated. I want to be able to accomplish things that my heart desires.
Because my driving force is happiness, and I want to be and speak and live in a place of love and light versus a place of anger and resentment.
Welcome to the Healers Break to Heal series, where we discuss the many ways we choose to heal, spreading high vibrational living and awareness internationally to create a collective divine energy that heals our universe. We believe in embracing our spiritual awakenings to identify our personal power and authentic selves. This series can be found on multiple platforms such as Lena Mystic YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. To learn more, you can visit lenamysticoracle.com. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Healers Break to Heal. On this episode, I want to talk about watching TV shows, watching movies, and just overall taking on energy that's not your own. What does it look like to take on energy that's not your own? I used to find myself when I was younger watching these videos or YouTube videos or even TV shows, anything on TV, anything that wasn't, my life, a representation of my life, and I would take on that energy like crazy. Now, of course, empaths have that as one of their biggest struggles, that someone can be around and you take on that energy, you take on that burden. And we don't really have a guideline on how to protect ourselves before watching a movie or going into a location that has a lot of baggage, or even going into a state that a lot of genocide happened in that space. It's like, how do you protect yourself from something that's already there, an energy that's already present, an energy that's already built? How do you protect yourself from a sad song that's playing but you don't feel sad? I don't think there's a guideline on that, but I will tell you, I've been practicing it myself for years, and this has truly helped. Especially when I used to watch shows like Vampire Diaries, I would be like, why am I so angry? But it was really just because I was listening to a frequency that didn't match my own. I was almost matching myself at that frequency, being an empath. So what I started doing was I would intend before I watched the show or before I went somewhere that I am protected, that I have a shield around my energy. And I noticed that I felt a lot better after episodes would end. And I also would kind of put a stopping point of how long I could watch a certain show or how long I could engage in a certain energy, because I needed to replenish my own energy before continuing. And it really helped. What does that look like tangibly? Tangibly, you would imagine like a white light around you, even a shield, like a Captain America shield, or any type of shield that you can think of, and then imagine that physical shield also has an energetic shield around you, and you're basically remaining untouched from an energy. Now, you can still sympathize with it, and you can even still empathize with it, but you don't carry it with you when you leave that movie, that TV show, or that location, or that person that's been talking to you. So when I know that a friend, and I don't always do this, but I try to intend that I do this, and when I do practice it, I notice a huge difference from when I don't practice it. I try to imagine that my energy is being refilled before I maybe call someone back or I answer the phone. And I think about how I don't need to be too invested, in a sense that I'm not the one actually going through it, but I can be a listening ear to it. It's the same thing with TV shows. I can be a listening ear to what's going on. And if you ever find yourself watching a TV show and while you're watching it, like let's say that their brother dates their girlfriend or something like that, like, oh my god, my girlfriend cheated on me with my brother, and that's how you say it in your head. You're like, my girlfriend cheated on me with my brother, I would kick her. Like that's how you say it in your head. That means that you're getting a little bit too invested in it. If you put yourself in their shoes, don't put yourself in someone else's shoe. Try to think of how they may feel instead of actually putting yourself in it, because oftentimes we get way too invested. And for example, when you're watching TV, it's really not that serious, you know, like we get way too invested. So try not to carry that energy with you as if it's your own life. Same thing with when you're talking to other people. It sounds like different from what we've always heard, but when you are an empath and you also put yourself in someone else's shoes, now you are carrying that energy with you. And if you don't know how to not put someone else's shoes on, then you can always intend after you converse with someone that is not your energy. That's not my energy. That's not me. That's not what I'm going through. Today is a beautiful day for me. Or I'm actually having a great day. I'm actually bonding well with my family. If you've ever heard a spouse like getting in trouble with their other spouse, like, oh, they did something wrong, and you're hearing that argument, you start getting worked up, and then you start arguing with your spouse, is that healthy? No. Is it even your energy? No, it's not. You're basically starting an argument because you witnessed an argument, you pick up the energy from that argument, and now you're putting it into your own energy in your own relationships. And you don't want to do that. It's just not healthy. It doesn't do anything positive for you. So try to make sure that you can tell the difference between someone else's energy and your own. And even when you're playing around, like let's say you're playing mad at someone, it can actually turn into being actually upset with someone. So try to be kind when you're speaking, especially when you're not actually upset. Be kind when you're speaking, be considerate, and be understanding that whatever energy you're faking can also become reality. I mean, that's basically what we do when we affirm some things. We are faking it till we make it sometimes when it comes to energy, and then actually manifests. So if you are putting in energy to faking upset with someone, it's going to eventually become an actual upset. You're investing in that. So be careful the way you speak to other people. Be kind when you speak to other people. Be considerate and understanding that someone else's energy doesn't need to be your own, but you can still listen to them while they speak so that you don't take on the energy that they already have. And also intend that you can send good energy to someone, you know? Like, I am hoping that your energy is also protected as you go through this, because that's something that they may need. They don't need you to always fuel them and encourage their upset. And if they tell you they just want you to listen, and you can offer that to them, do you just want me to listen, or do you want me to help you like get more stabilized? What do you want from me? And asking them that question can also protect you too, so that you understand what your role is in that interaction. And I actually love doing that, because if you can ask somebody, do you just want me to listen? It helps you to be very intentional with the role that you're playing. And the same thing with TV shows. Like, we're not actually going through the things that we see in soap operas. Like, they're so dramatic, but we get as worked up as they are in the show, and then it's like we're living our life like that. And it's like, that's not what you're actually going through. That's just energy that you're carrying with you that you saw, and that's not healthy. And that's why I always tell people it is good to detach from society or even TV sometimes, so that we can get into that hermit mode and do the healing that we need to do, because sometimes we're actually healing from the stuff that we watch, or the things that we heard and not really the things going on in our life. And that's just, it's not fun. You know, we already have things that we naturally need to heal from. There's no point in getting invested in phony baloney drama that's not our own. So next time you watch a TV show, try to intend that you don't take on the energy that's in the show and that you can just observe. And observing is really, really healthy. Just observing something but not taking it on is very, very healthy, and it takes practice. And that's why I love being in nature, because you can sit outside in nature and see things and not take on the, you know, the essence of what's actually going on. But you can be healed by it instead. Like, oh, I'm observing that squirrel running away from my cat. Like, nature. And personally, I would be very drained if I saw my cat eat the actual squirrel. That would really just, that would break my heart. You know, that is kind of what we see in nature when we watch nature channels and stuff. We see animals eating other animals, and it's like, oh, that really sucks. Like, but it does remind us that that is nature and that crappy things happen. And it even teaches us to be more grateful that that crappy thing did not just happen to us. You know, it is very realistic. Like, there are things happening negative all the time. There are things that, and not necessarily negative, but there are things that we perceive as negative or harmful or you know, hateful that are happening around the world. And it produces this amount of sadness to us. But sometimes if we can protect ourselves from that energy and say, okay, yes, this is a very sad thing that's happening, but I don't want to take on the sadness because I want to be proactive. Because that puts us in a position of power to be proactive. For example, if you see somebody getting hurt in the world, and or a group of people or something really bad happening on another side of the world, instead of just, oh, my heart breaks so much, like, you can feel that sadness and observe it, but then say, I'm not going through this. I am grateful that I'm not, but how can I help? How can I put myself in a position to help this group of people or this person? How can I offer my assistance? How can I offer my support to the people that need help right now? And instead of me just sitting in this little, like, fetal position saying, ow, this hurts so bad, like, oh, I'm crying because this person doesn't deserve to be hurt. How can I help this person? You know, it puts you in such a better position to be able to observe. When you're able to observe, you can really provide more help than you think. Putting yourself in someone else's shoes doesn't always help as much as it could be beneficial to take a step back. This is not something I'm going through, but because I'm not going through this, I can help this community or this person a lot more than they can help themselves or someone else that's in their community can help. So take it as a symbol of courage to be able to take yourself out of that pain that someone else is going through and be able to observe what pain they're going through, what feelings they're going through, and being able to support them as they're going through something, because it's so much more powerful to observe than it is to take on that burden with them. Now you guys are in the same circle. Now you guys are going through the same thing. Who's going to help you now? So if you're not actually going through it, take a step back, observe it, and then you can figure out how to support and offer powerful support to that person or that community. When it comes to TV shows and movies and, you know, whatever's on TV, I always tell people, do not watch the news all the time, because it honestly is just a lot of negative information. I believe in staying up to date with current events. I personally don't do it because I am an empath, but when I do, I try to make sure that I don't take on the pain to a point where I can't help or provide any assistance with anybody. I personally believe in helping and supporting other people. And if I'm at a place of I'm going through the same thing you're going through emotionally, I cannot help you. I believe in being proactive. That's the type of person that I am. So if I can't be proactive because I'm feeling what you're going through, then I'm not serving any purpose in this. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to take in, that you don't always need to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And even if you do for a moment, take yourself back out, because sometimes even putting yourself in someone else's shoes can help you understand even more what they're going through. But if you cannot take yourself back out, I would not put their shoes on. I personally can put myself in somebody else's shoes and then take myself out and then come up with a solution and help them. And that's why I do life coaching, and I've been doing it for the past, 6 years, because I'm able to see and feel what you're going through, but also help you even come up with a solution to find a better way of living, a healthier way of living, a happier way of living. I love what I do. I really do. Being able to help people shift their life into a more positive direction based off of what they want and not what I want. Because I'm not going to tell you what I want. I ain't got nothing to do with what you got going on. If you want something, I can help you find it, because I can see your positive attributes. I can see the best characteristics you have that can create what you desire. I'm not going to put my most positive attributes into your life and say, oh, you can obtain it by this way. No, I can see you for who you are and help you get where you want to be based off of who you are as a person and what you've been working towards. And if you can separate yourself from a problem, you can 9 times out of 10 find a solution pretty quickly. Even if you are going through something, like let's say that you're going through something that's really painful, if you can take a step back in that situation as well and separate yourself from what you are going through, like you kind of take yourself out of your shoes and you can see it playing out as if it's a movie, you can even find a solution that way too. And that's something that I've done too. I'm like, okay, well, if I wasn't going through this, but I saw somebody going through this, what advice would I give them? Because a lot of people say we don't take our own advice. We don't practice what we preach. Like, people say that, and that's like a real thing. A lot of people do not practice what they preach because they don't have self-awareness. But if you have that self-awareness where you could step away from the problem and then you see the problem and you're like, oh, that solution is there, like getting the bigger picture, then you can actually fix whatever problems you're going through. So this doesn't only work for if someone else is going through things, but it also works if you're going through things, where you can step away, get the bigger picture, and then say, I can see it. And you may have to do that 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 20 times, but it's still going to help you build up a practice of finding solutions rather than sitting in problems, which we don't want to sit in problems. It's just not helpful. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like Spirit has been speaking through me lately, and my husband suggested I do more videos like this. If you guys like it, I really want you to put like a butterfly or a feather or just some type of spirit animal in the comment section below to let me know that you are enjoying this podcast form. Those of you who are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, just go ahead and like this episode so that I know the feedback that you guys are giving me based off of these episodes and what you're listening to and how it's helping you. If you're able to comment in any way or send me an email or whatever the case is, let me know as well of any episodes that you want on this channel. And I honestly look forward to doing more content like this. It's pretty fun. I love you guys. I hope to see you in the next podcast episode. And go ahead and share this with all your friends. And make sure you subscribe. Bye.